All right. This weekend, if you didn't notice, it was the anniversary of the events of January 6th. A date that will live in infamy. It was, of course, the most horrific day in all of American history. And over on MSNBC, they treated it pretty much exactly how you would expect. Jonathan Capehart had one of the Capitol Police officers on his show to sell a book. Literally, that's what he's doing now. He's selling a book about what happened to him for, 2.5 hours on January 6, 2021. And, well, here's Jonathan Capehart, a very, very serious journalist for the Peacock Network.
For known, I'm going to try to get through this. Thank you for what you did 3 years ago today. Please tell me your thoughts on this third anniversary.
Jonathan, I don't care how much you act up. He is not going to date you, okay? Well, you might be his type. I'm not sure. But did you notice the prop Kleenex in his hand? He came to the set prepared. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry.
For known, I'm going to try to get through this. Thank you for what you did 3 years ago today. Please tell me your thoughts on this third anniversary.
We are still in the midst of the same fight that began on January 6th, 2021.
For known,
I was watching MSNBC when they did their recollections of the events of September 11th, 2001 this year. It's been 22 years since those events, right? And they didn't have this kind of raw emotion and this kind of drama. And the whole idea, we're still in the midst of all of this. Over in MSNBC world, the events of September 11th is ancient history. It was a one-off, and that sort of thing will never happen again. And then literally a month later, radical Islamic terrorists slaughtered innocent Americans and Israelis just outside the Gaza border. That's an existential threat that people are still living with on a daily basis in this world and will continue to live with that threat. But not at MSNBC. No, at MSNBC, the real threat that keeps people up at night and brings very serious journalists like Jonathan Capehart literally to tears on the air is January 6th.
For known, I'm going to try to get through this. Thank you for what you did 3 years ago today.
Fanone, the Capitol Police officer who's selling a book, he should be commended for actually keeping a straight face through that. And that when he was done, the producers and the cameramen, well, maybe not the cameramen because those guys are real dudes. But the people at MSNBC, the producers and the writers and the marketing people, they were like, Jonathan, that was one of the bravest performances I have ever seen. I am so proud to be associated with this program. Thank you. Yeah. He makes Mika Brzezinski look manly. Seriously. Pull it together, Jonathan. Meanwhile, that's not even the most embarrassing thing for MSNBC this weekend. Mehdi Hasan is a propagandist, and he's had a show there at MSNBC, but recently it was canceled. And unbeknownst to his bosses, I believe, he made this stunning announcement on the occasion of his final show.
It's been an absolute blast doing this live show on MSNBC for the past 3 years with an amazing team of producers behind me and with all of you watching at home. It's been a privilege. It's been a pleasure. But as we begin 2024, with an election coming, a war still ongoing, and too many Trump trials, honestly, to even keep track of, and with this show going away, I've decided that it's time for me to look for a new challenge. Tonight is not just my final episode of the Mehdi Hasan Show. It's my last day with MSNBC. Yes, I've decided to leave. To be clear, I am so proud, so proud of what we've achieved on this show, on this network. And I can't thank you all enough for tuning in and for your support and for your feedback. But as I say,
Have you noticed these British guys they all sound alike, right? Am I the only one? By the way, it's an American news network. Didn't we learn this lesson with Piers Morgan? Like you bring somebody over here with a foreign accent and then you begin lecturing us about our politics. It's like, I don't need that. I think Seb Gorka is the only one I'll tolerate. Pretty sure. But other than that, it's like, and he doesn't lecture me about my politics. So Mehdi Hassan has basically said to the powers that be at MSNBC, if you don't give me my own show, I'm out of here, which is a pretty good power move. One wonders who will hire him next. He has worked for Al Jazeera already, but that would be a bit of a step down, I would think. I mean, he'd fit in well with Christiane Amanpour and the team over at CNN because he hates America just the right amount. Although he doesn't hate America so much that he didn't want his citizenship. Oh, that's right. He got what he wanted from the NBC Comcast Universal Universe because he got a job here, he moved here, and then just in time for the 2020 presidential election, he became a naturalized citizen. So now we're stuck with him. I guess we're going to have to pay his unemployment insurance too. Yeah, that's right. He's on the welfare doles. But let's just take a walk down memory lane and remind you who exactly Mehdi Hassan is and what his track record has been. Now, this was an interview with the ambassador from Israel a couple of weeks after the events of October 7th. And Mehdi Hassan was quoting and delivering the death toll statistics that had been publicized by the Hamas terrorists, the propagandists. He was repeating them as if they were qualified facts. And the ambassador called him out on it. Here's how it went.
I'll give you an example, Mehdi.
No,
Originally, we estimated.
No,
answer your question. Allow me to answer your question. I'm answering your question directly, if you'll allow me. We originally said in the atrocious Hamas attack on our people on October 7th, we had the number at 1,400 casualties. And now we've revised that down to 1,200 because we understood that we had overestimated. We made a mistake. There were actually bodies that were so badly burnt, we thought they were ours. In the end, apparently, they were Hamas terrorists.
I just give it a little bit of context, by the way. Mehdi Hassan had said, well, you say Hamas is not giving accurate numbers, but you had to change your death toll numbers from the October 7th attacks. I mean, as if this is the thing about this guy. He's like, oh, sure, Hamas might be propagandists, but so is the government of Israel. The equivocation, the equivalence here, the false equivalence between a democratically elected government and an authoritarian terrorist regime that murders innocent people. And this guy, this ambassador, said, all right, let me answer that. You're right. We overestimated the death toll because the bodies had been burned, dismembered, and mutilated. So what we thought was multiple bodies, sadly, horrifically ended up being just one corpse. You feel better now, Mehdi, for carrying the water for the terrorists? And actually, the answer is yes, he does, because it continues.
When we make a mistake, we admit it.
Short on time.
Why does that give you permission? Why does that give you permission to accept Hamas's numbers? I don't understand.
I didn't ask about Hamas's numbers. I said to you that
I didn't ask about Hamas's numbers because I'm not interested in that. This is who Mehdi Hassan is. This went on and on and on, in fact. But there's more. Mehdi Hassan also joined Rashida Tlaib, Congresswoman, Democrat from Michigan, in pushing the propaganda that Israel had sent a rocket to a hospital in Gaza. Of course, we know now and continue to know that that was a lie. It was a fraud. It was a made-up story. The Congresswoman still has her post up on X.com saying Israel has just killed innocent children and women at a hospital. And Mehdi Hassan also, as you can see, given how confident they are about who's to blame for the hospital deaths, Israeli authorities should allow foreign journalists and international war crimes investigators into Gaza to see for themselves. See, he doesn't believe. He doesn't believe. He wants to go and see for himself. People kept showing him pictures of where the rocket came from and showing them video of the trajectory of the rocket that came from Gaza and then went right into the Gaza territories where the hospital was. But it's not good enough for him. No. From Mehdi Hassan's perspective, Israel is to be held up for scrutiny and suspicion because they're the real murdering liars out there, not the Hamas terrorists at Gaza. That's who he is.
Back in
Oh, sorry. I thought I had one more clip of Mehdi Hassan. We'll get to you in a minute, Speaker Mike Johnson. So we listen, we're going to be really sorry to see Mehdi Hassan go. Not only is he not going to have an MSNBC platform to trumpet propaganda from the terrorists, to push lies like the Hamas, the Gaza hospital story, but also he won't be able to call non-Muslims animals. He won't be able to compare people who don't believe in Islam to mental illness. Those are things that he said back before he was hired by MSNBC, as reported by the Washington Free Beacon. Now, he did apologize for those remarks in 2019, and NBC said, oh, absolutely, no harm, no foul. We're also going to miss him supporting Ilhan Omar, the most anti-Semitic member of the House of Representatives. Every time she said something that was anti-Jew and anti-Israel, oh, Mehdi Hassan was Johnny on the spot to run out there and defend her at any cost. So it's going to be rough. I mean, listen, there's plenty of other people over at MSNBC to pick up the slack. Don't worry. And we do wonder where he's going to show up next. Like I said, it'll probably be CNN, or now that he's a citizen, I'm thinking Congress might be calling. Right? And then he can defend Ilhan Omar as one of his trusted colleagues.